Hey YouTube, this is Ben Gessel. So I thought I'd make a video here before it gets too dark. Something a little bit more in the daytime arena, even though it's actually still 7 p.m. So I need to do some stuff today still. But time flies. I might make this particular video a little shorter. Just walk around for a little bit. Maybe show you that sign I was talking about earlier. Sorry I haven't put out any more music stuff recently. We'll get to that soon. This might also be a little bit of a mixed info kind of video here. Growing a nice beard. I'll show you guys maybe one of these days soon. So I think I'm part Sean Connery here or something. Not quite as tall, not quite as dark of hair, but I have some Scottish ancestry, and Scots tend to be a little bit hairier than some. But my Bavarian German kind of counteracts that a little bit, so I'm not super hairy, but I do have a nice beard. So, anyway, what else? What I was going to mention here today? So in the past, I should mention a bit more of what kinds of YouTube videos I've seen more, or at least, maybe we'll say YouTube hobbies or interests, things that I've kind of been following more, I guess you could say. By the way, though, on Quora, which is kind of a secondary thing I do, social media-wise, I've answered a lot of music questions, in particular, a lot of Bach questions, Johann Sebastian Bach. Maybe I'll mention a little bit more about this subject. Once you start, Quora's a weird website in a way. The more questions you answer, and they kind of keep feeding them to you, and the more the people see that you've answered a lot of questions, the more they'll want you to answer their question. So it's kind of like, if you ignore stuff, nobody's gonna, come after you. Which is one of the things that Quora doesn't really make very clear. Kind of seems like, oh, why aren't you going to answer your questions, right? You don't want to hold people up, right? But of course, I've just got a message, by the way, that I'm going to be one of their official partners or something. So I'm like, oh, can I actually make a little bit of money with this? Wow. So I'm going to have to get on that Quora thing. So that's kind of cool. And by the way, this is the house I was telling you guys about. It's actually pretty cool, because they have artwork and stuff. See this bad boy here. That bad boy there. No dogs. That bad boy. So nice, though. It's so nice. Little painting. And that bad boy. So it's actually pretty cool. It's actually a pretty cool sign. I mean, maybe I was a little hard on them. Maybe I was. I mean, it's actually kind of nice to walk by a very nice rainbow sign. Oh, look, here's the bark stuff. That's just me. Sometimes I can be a bit of a hothead, I admit it. Not too much, hopefully one. I really am a more peaceful type person. But, I do notice things. I'm not a complete Gandhi. I don't go completely Gandhi here all the time. I know people that are a bit more chill than me, and it's probably a better way of being overall. It's just, again, there's a side of me that can be a little bit that way from time to time. So, I guess it's a question of what you get hot-headed about anyway. You want those things to be lower in number. I think it's still great to mull things over, of course. Getting back to some earlier trains of thought here, folks. So, but yeah, Quora is kind of different. It's, yeah, the more questions you answer about a subject, the more everybody thinks that you're an expert on it, which isn't exactly necessarily true. It's true, I do know a lot about Bach and Beethoven and all these things. That's what I went to school for. But the funny thing is, even though classical music, they get trained in classical music in college, it isn't necessarily the main thing for a lot of musicians that they want to truly know the most about or what they're most passionate about. But I've answered a lot of questions about Bach, but they're not quite as in-depth or as scholarly as some other folks on there. They're kind of medium range, I guess you could say. I put stuff out there, stuff that you would probably learn. A lot of it's stuff that you learn as an undergraduate. Some of it's a bit more detailed, perhaps. My horn teacher was a flippin' music historian. He's pretty well known. Jeff Snedeker. If you guys are more knowledgeable about all things professor related to music, he's a pretty big name, especially with horn and the history of the French horn and music history and many other related subjects. The natural horn, all that stuff. So he was my professor. So yeah, I did kind of learn a bit more than your average Joe as far as undergraduate music stuff. Plus, I've actually done a lot of additional reading on my own since college. You have students that ask you questions. You tend to keep learning things over time, which is a good thing. But again, I'm not saying that classical music history is my forte. I'm just saying I answered a lot of questions, and then the more questions you answer, because a lot of folks that have, PhDs in this subject, they just don't even answer Quora. They're not on Quora. So, it's like, it's great to be well thought of. I'm just saying, yes and no. I'm up there a little bit. I could still be way more up there in some respects, but I want to be a scholar, but I don't necessarily always, music history isn't my big thing. So, anyway, but it's nice to be well thought of, and especially I'm looking forward to the possibility of earning a bit of that side coin as well in this area. But anyway, I was mentioning some other things aside from Quora. I'm sorry, folks. Oh yes, YouTube Hobbies. So, well, let's see. It kind of started out with listening to music that I wasn't as familiar with again in college. And that was the biggest thing I did on YouTube for quite a while. And then it kind of somewhat moved into movies and little things that are kind of fun, TV ads and shorts or jingles or whatever, TV logos, kind of thing, or like, PSA announcements and those fun little animations from the 80s and things. And then from there, it kind of branched into maybe, say, at one point, I was getting more into all the pranks and things, but it started out with Jack Vale. And then it went from, I started discovering younger guys or more rambunctious, mischievous, etc. kinds of things, or just impish things that you would find on Jack ASS, those kinds of pranks. And I saw all the inner city folks getting upset on the pranks on black people. I've seen all that stuff. And sure, but part of me is like, yes, we know there's kind of a bit more of an aggressive mindset in those places, but come on. So I definitely got to a point where I was like, okay, I've had enough of this stuff. Yes, Roman Atwood, you're a really cool guy. It's really funny. So, but I've come back to a little bit of those pranky things, but in a different form. Perhaps Magic Murray. And I've been watching funny magicians, funny magicians, as well as some scarier demon magicians, or just people that you like trying to figure out how they do things. But there's some things that are just, I think, physically impossible to pull off unless something weird is going on there. So that's been a little bit somewhat more of a recent interest. But after the prank phase, I guess you say, I was getting more into a variety of things, trying to expand my YouTube thing. And I'm sure I'm leaving things out, of course. Some of it was political, but never too much. It's just, kind of a waste of time, to be honest, to be putting a lot of effort into this stuff unless you want to be in that field. And it's just really angry and contentious and all that stuff. So, I would check out all the crazy stuff a little bit here and there. But I think I spent a little bit more time still looking for free movies. That was kind of the big thing. So that is what was the big draw on YouTube quite some time ago, was the free movies, along with music and stuff. And then when the free movies were taken down, like, and I think a lot of people got used to seeing free movies on YouTube, which was one of the things that brought cable way down, along with Netflix and everything else, and Amazon Prime and Hulu. But I don't know, like there's still a lot of things you can still watch for free on YouTube. It's just nothing like it used to be. And so then everybody complained about that, of course. This is all common knowledge, Google Plus and Google owning YouTube and doing all the crazy things to it. Bob built an army, and I'm mentioning this because this is kind of, I'm just going back and remembering all this stuff a little bit. It wasn't that long ago. And then let's see, I don't know, I mean, like, I stopped, I mean, you only had like that great show Paranormal State, right, with Ryan Buell and his team. And it was kind of the first show I really saw that was kind of in that arena, kind of how they set everything up. I'd seen Twilight Zone, I'd seen all kinds of other shows, TV shows before that were scarier, but this was a little different. I had seen The Haunting. A Haunting is still kind of one of those classics, right, I go back to. Believe me, yes. And all kinds of other movies like Paranormal Activity and things that were maybe kind of more of a passing fad thing. Paranormal Activity, of course, taking a nod from the Blair Witch Project and these homemade movies that were actually pretty cool in a way. At least the first time you saw it. They don't really have a lot of staying power. Kind of yes, kind of no. At least, But Blair Witch Project is kind of, one time you see it once, great. After that, So I watched some paranormal stuff after I watched it on TV quite a while back, and then I was kind of looking at some other stuff on, in that arena, and I just realized, I was like, you know what, I'm going to kind of wrap things up here shortly, maybe make another video, but I was like, this is just not, where is it going kind of thing, right? Where's all this going? And I was like, I think I want to not do this so much. It's probably not super healthy to spend a whole lot of time and interest in this stuff, so I went into other stuff. But that gives you guys in a nutshell kind of what I've been looking at more. But there's all kinds of other stuff. I mean, like, there are things about video games, reviews and things, and other more cultured things, perhaps. But anyway, I'm gonna make another video here shortly. I'll catch you guys later. Take care. Bye.